Well, this was unexpected. Yule Log, or The Fireplace as it's being called, is a new Adult Swim film that just dropped onto HBO Max completely out of the blue, and it didn't really work for me at all, actually. Adult Swim is filled with TV shows, ad breaks, and commercials that just seem to want to push things to see what happens. And I'm okay with that. The director behind this is one of those people. He made the Too Many Cooks viral sensation that I really enjoyed. It's cute, it's clever, it's fun, and it's short. And that's the biggest benefit of that. You can't stretch that idea to a feature. And unfortunately, he kind of tried to stretch an idea similar to that to a feature, because Yule Log is essentially the same type of premise. What would happen if we inserted a story into a Yule Log video that is meant for moms to turn on in the background of their Christmas parties? It starts off with a 5 or so minute shot of just a fireplace crackling and burning with a little bit of Christmas music played over top, similar to what these YouTube videos do. And then in the foreground, we see that a maid comes in, and then the maid gets met by a couple of guys who kill her, a mom and a son. So it's all caught on this camera, and then shortly after that, our main characters pop in, a guy and a girl. They come in, and it's revealed that it's his camera that's shooting this. So at first I went, okay, so it's a found footage movie about a guy who wanted to film a Yule Log video. But then it's not. So why even make it found footage? It just brings up a lot of questions, because it is a camera pointing at this fireplace. So why didn't the maid see this camera and move it? Why didn't the killers see this camera and turn it off or move it? Are they that stupid? And then to make matters worse, it goes into traditional editing and shooting in the second act. So why even introduce the idea that it's a found footage in the first place? I really don't understand that. At least you could have had the main character, or one of the main characters, the guy, go up and turn off the camera. I think his name is Alex, and then you can at least start cutting more traditionally. But then it just feels like you gave up. Like you had this idea for a found footage Yule Log movie where everything takes place in front of a fireplace, and then you had to tack on the rest of the story.
Seeing a Yule Log, and I just got this image of blurry legs walking in front of it and some dialogue. And I thought, oh yeah, you're locked off on this Yule Log, and then you could actually have a story, have it become a movie.
Because you have these serial killers that break into this house and murder a woman, and they're hiding in the house. And it's made very clear that they're hiding in this house multiple times by this camera miraculously autofocusing on a little pot at the side of the frame, almost out of frame, showing them peeking their heads out, which is like a cute little, like, hey, look at that in the corner of the frame. If you're paying attention, you can see it. But then how did the camera autofocus there? No one's controlling the camera because it's found footage, so how did it autofocus there? I don't know, but it's made very clear that these serial killers are in there. So it's supposed to give you this tension that they're going to jump at any moment. And then a bunch of podcasters show up because it's double booked for some reason. Okay. Why, though? I mean, Barbarian did something similar where it double booked this Airbnb, and these two people have to fight against evil. Okay, that is our part of the story. Here, it's just they double booked because they wanted a bigger body count. That's literally it. There's like 4 more people that show up at this house, and they're just there to be killed. There is absolutely no other reason for it, which is a horror trope at this point, and it's not a good one. So there you have the serial killers, these bodies, and then you have a log, the Yule Log, and then it literally starts flying around and murdering people. So we have a possessed evil log with these serial killers and this ballooning body count. And then we have aliens. Because why not, I guess? Just throw in aliens. I think you just make one or the other. Make a serial killer movie, or make a paranormal movie, or make a alien movie. Choose one and stick with that. It would have worked a lot better. Instead, it's just like, oh, now this is happening. Oh, well, okay.
In Too Many Cooks and in this one, I kind of just decided to use all of them. Like, I think a normal movie, they might have gone, okay, we'll pick this villain and extrapolate from there. But I kept getting different ideas for villains. So I'm like, why not use all of them?
But the characters, the main two at least, are where this movie should shine. And in times it does. At times it does do a pretty good job of introducing these two characters, giving them some relatable trauma and grief, and having them kind of play off each other in interesting ways. They're in this relationship, and our main character, this girl, is going through a lot. You find out that she thinks that she's supposed to be dead because she switched shifts with somebody, and that person got killed. She has trauma from that. She works as an environmentalist, a nonprofit for coral reefs. She's kind of a woke liberal Twitter person saying, I don't want to get on this bear rug because it's a bear rug. And then her boyfriend cheekily says, but you have leather boots, pointing out the hypocrisy there. And there's some interesting stuff with that. And that's kind of the stuff I liked most here, is their dynamic and the poking fun at the politics of our generation. It frequently pokes fun at how our generation, specifically our era, is just completely absorbed by our own self-interests and completely absorbed by looking good to other people online. And that's very weird coming from a movie with aliens and serial killers and flying possessed logs. And I understand that's probably the juxtaposition it's going for with all this weird shit that is just out there that one of our main characters, Alex, doesn't believe in at all. He doesn't believe in any of this stuff, and then it all happens. So there's that juxtaposition between this interesting kind of environmental message and this weird-ass storyline with all the craziness they could have possibly thrown into it, because there are bigger problems that these characters have to worry about than their own insignificant lives in the moment. They have to survive being attacked by an alien instead. And I get it. It's just, you could have done this with so much less. And honestly, the old adage rings true, is less is more, because it just feels like tonal whiplash, going from so many different things to so many different other things. Sometimes it's a straight-up comedy. Sometimes it's trying to take itself deadly serious. Sometimes it's just kind of in the middle. It's just complete tonal whiplash. And every time it introduces a new weird-ass thing, it just whips your head again for no reason other than to whip your head back because of how weird is this.
But it's something we all think about when you go to an Airbnb or go to a park. You wonder what's happened here in the past, like where I'm standing right now. What has happened here, and how does it affect us now in ways we don't know?
I wanted to like this more than I did. I had some fun with it. It is violent, and there are some fun low-budget gore effects that actually are pretty solid, but in the end, it is just kind of a low-budget Adult Swim feature. And if you're looking for an Adult Swim feature, then this may scratch that itch, because it is basically what you would expect at 12 a.m. on Adult Swim for an hour and a half. It is just exactly what you would expect it to be. But it is nice that it has a little bit of an edge to it in terms of its message and its thematics, and the character dynamics between our main two characters are more interesting than I expected them to be. I just wish that it tried to be more focused. It's one of those movies that completely loses focus of what it's actually about, and the ending specifically, the last 2 minutes, kind of ruined this whole thing for me. It just takes what it's saying the entire time and says, yeah, but these bad things are still going to happen to you, so there's nothing you can do. It just feels like it kind of ruins itself at the end. And there's pockets of this movie that I absolutely hated. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one because I want to say I like it, but I don't. I'd probably give it a 4 or a 5. Sorry.